Hull and hello Liverpool. We've got our next materials lesson today, and we've had a little think about different kinds of materials in the last few lessons: glass, paper, wood, metal or fabric. Today we're going to think of words that might describe some of these materials, and the words across the top might be useful. These are some of the properties that materials can have. A property is a little bit like an adjective. Well, it is an adjective that describes what materials are like and sometimes what they can do. So we've got hard or soft. They are the opposite of each other, aren't they? We've got bendy or rigid. If something does not bend, it is rigid. And we've got smooth or rough. And again, they are the opposite of each other. Okay, let's have a little think about the first material. So here we've got glass. We'll make it a little bit bigger so we can have a little look and a little think. So when I see things made out of glass, I'm thinking whether they are hard or soft. And I know that most of the things that are made out of glass, I think, are hard. So I'm going to put in this first box here a tick, because I think that most glass is hard. It's quite fragile. It breaks if you drop it quite often, but it's hard. It's not soft. I'm going to say no. Glass is not soft. Next one, bendy. Is glass bendy? No, no. Any glass that I've seen or used, it's not bendy. Is it rigid? Yes, I would think it's quite firm. It stays in the shape that it's made. It's rigid. You can't really bend glass, can you? Is it smooth? Most of the time, I think glass is smooth. Maybe very, very clever glass makers can make it a little bit rough, but most of the glass I've seen is smooth. So I'm going to say no. Most of the glass is not rough. Okay, so I've completed the first row of what I think. We'll do one more together and then you can have a go. Okay, so the next material, we'll just pop that glass back in there. Okay, so our next material is going to be paper. Now, let's have a little look at this paper and see what we think. Right, here's some paper. So you might have paper at home. There's lots of different types of paper, isn't there? There's toilet paper, there's writing paper, there's tissue paper, there's a kind of stretchy paper called crepe paper, shiny paper. This might be a bit tricky. Let's have a think. Paper. Is paper hard? No, I don't think I would say hard. So I think I'll put a cross there. I don't think I'd call paper hard. Is paper soft? I think I'll put a little question mark there. And I think my question mark will mean sometimes, depending on the type of paper. So I know that toilet paper is nice and soft for a good reason. And I know that other paper isn't so soft. So yes, I'll leave that at a question mark. Bendy. Is paper bendy? What do you think? Can you bend paper? I think I'm going to say yes. You can bend paper. You could twist it and roll it and shape it. I think I'll say yes. Ooh, this is a bit tricky. Rigid. So is paper rigid? No, I'm going to say it isn't rigid. You can fold it too easily, can't you? So I'll say no for that. Smooth. This is a tricky one. A lot of paper is nice and smooth. Sometimes paper can be a little bit more rough, but I'll say yes. I think most paper that I've seen is fairly smooth, and I'll say no to rough. If you think a little bit differently, don't worry, as long as you've got good reasons for your answers. Right, let's just have a little think. I'm not going to fill in any more of the boxes, but what I do want you to do is just have a little think about those materials. So we've got wood, and remember, when we have wood, when we have wood, come here, Mr. Wood, that's it. When we have wood, wood can be used for lots of different things, and sometimes people who make things from wood, carpenters, can make the wood lovely and smooth, but sometimes it's quite rough. So have a little think about that one when you complete the table. This is a table here. This chart here is called a table. Metal. Let's think about metal. Now, until I saw this picture on the internet, I was thinking, oh, metal's always nice and smooth, but actually, this metal doesn't look nice and smooth. That sheet of metal looks a little bit rough. Another little thought there. And the last one, which again is tricky, is this fabric one. Remember, fabrics can be made out of lots of different materials. So some fabrics you might have heard of are cotton, or wool, or silk, or satin. Lots of different types. I'm not going to say too much more about that one. So here's what we'd like you to do. If you can try to draw this table in your book or on a piece of paper. If you can't, don't worry, because you could just write the material name and tell me, or tell your teacher, tell Mrs. Tarry or Miss Creaser what you think each of the materials is like. If you can get some help from a grown-up, if you're finding this table tricky, then you could do that too. So remember, if you think it can be both, put a question mark. If you think, no, it's definitely not that, put a cross. And if you think, yes, it's definitely that, put a tick. Don't forget, if you can, take a photo of your work and send it to your teacher. All for now. Bye.